ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and a pleasure for me to be here in this August gathering, presenting a paper for the third consecutive year. It's a real honor to come back to KDU, and right now I am a student of KDU as well in a different form. So today I will be, next 15 minutes, will be talking to you about IUU fishing and the national security concerns. And at the outset, let me say, fisheries are a major source of nutrition to the mankind. It provides food, it provides employment, it provides even leisure activities. And some countries' economy can totally depend on the fisheries. Having said that, it's unfortunate that this very nutritious, valuable catch is on the decline. There can be a number of reasons attributed to the global decline of fisheries. It can be industrialization, overfishing, open access nature of many fisheries. This is a phenomena that Sri Lanka is going through. Our fisheries are open to exploitation. It can be environmental factors affecting stock productivity. It can be global warming or environmental pollution. Then also, because it's a very lucrative business, there are a large number of fishing vessels, so there is overcapacity in the world fishing fleet. And some countries actually encourage large-scale fishing even by providing subsidies. Now, when you come to the illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, there is a definition given by the United Nations. And the illegal fishing refers to activities conducted by national or foreign vessels under the jurisdiction of a state without the permission of that state or in contravention of its laws and regulation. Now here in our Sri Lankan context, we do experience these illegal fishing activities at a great extent. And then unreported is basically you are not giving the accurate reporting of what you catch. Now this has ramification on the conservation or the sustainable yield of fishing. Now fishing that has been unreported or misreported to the relevant national authority or regional organization in contravention of applicable laws and regulations. Then come to the unregulated fishing, now generally refers to fishing by vessels without nationality. Fishing vessels, either they have changed the flag or they are not using a nationality because they are in fact engaged in illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. So this is the definition for IUU fishing. And at the outset, let me tell you, not all the fisheries are conducted in a responsible manner. Some do not respect the rules governing fishing. Some uses illegal gear. Some uses very destructive methods. Now, benthic trolling or the bottom trolling technique is a real marine environmental killer. Now here in our situation, we are subjected to bottom trolling, especially in the Pork Bay area. Now I will show you another picture. As the picture in the center suggests, bottom trolling wipe out everything in its path. In the bottom trolling, a heavy trawl is dragged almost 6 centimeters below the seabed, and that scrape everything in its path, and that is really detrimental to sustainable fishing. Now this is a photograph taken in Sri Lankan waters. You can see one of the fishing trawlers taking the catch, the trawl, and another byproduct of bottom trolling is the bycatch. The fish that you are not targeting, the fish that you don't want, and it is estimated about 40% of bottom trolling catch is bycatch, which is of no use to anyone, but it destroys the marine environment. Now, if you talk about in my paper, I will be focusing more on the Pork Bay issues rather than covering the entire country because it's such a vast subject. There is escalating fisheries conflict, and this has led to a serious political debate between India and Sri Lanka, which in turn affect the good relations between these two neighbors. There is an international maritime boundary line agreed upon, demarcated, signed in 1974. However, the close proximity of the southern tip of India and the northern part of Sri Lanka does not permit the the IMBL to be upheld in its real meaning. And the fishermen and smugglers cross this IMBL at their will from time to time. Now this is actually the IMBL, and you can see that it's equidistant between the two countries, and this is the small peck is the Kachatiu Island. And the next picture I'm going to show you is a radar picture. Now this is Delf Island, Kachatiu is somewhere here. You can see the large number of trawlers poaching in Sri Lankan waters, taking away our valuable catch. Now this photograph was taken by one of the naval patrol boat, and this photograph was taken by a shore-based radar in Thalemanna. Here again, you can see large number of trawlers poaching in Sri Lankan waters. Now this picture was taken last year of Pulmude, that is in the eastern coast. So at times, these poaching vessels have penetrated further to the south as well. Now, the biggest issue as far as the Navy is concerned in this poaching is because the Navy is accused of killing, harassing, arresting, taking the catch, destroying the boats. However, all these accusations are centered around Kachatiu Island because Kachatiu Island is in some kind of dispute. So all these incidents are reported around Kachatiu Island. And I know, being a naval officer, there are very strict orders for the naval platforms, naval vessels to operate in these orders and how to deal with the poaching vessel. And you have to really exercise utmost restraint when dealing with the poaching vessels. Now, India is fully aware what is happening in these waters. However, the Tamil Nadu politics does not favor central government of India taking firm action. Now, for your information, Tamil Nadu as a state is the largest exporter of shrimp to the Western and the European markets from India. Now, the question is, where does this prawn comes from? It is being harvested in the Sri Lankan waters. Now, let me take your memory back to the LTTE time. The LTTE, there were a lot of movement between the two coasts, at the southern coast of India and the northern coast of Sri Lanka. And they were ferrying cargoes, they were transferring warlike materials, they were transferring casualties. And there were many times that they used Indian trawlers to carry out these nefarious activities. There was, during the conflict time, there were a lot of fishing restriction and regular monitoring by the Sri Lanka Navy. And then the LTTE exploited the Indian trawlers present in these areas. Now, after the war, naturally, the peace dividends, the fishermen in the northern waters are now free to go fishing. However, now they find their brothers across the Pork Strait are here in large numbers and they are depleting our own catch. So this has led to conflict between the two fishers. Now, in the backdrop, there was one affidavit filed by the Indian Coast Guard Inspector General Murthy. Now here, it clearly acknowledged the fact that the fishing is taking place by the Indian poachers, Indian poaching vessels in the Sri Lankan waters. In that affidavit, he suggests a similar method which is in existence between Pakistan and India in Gujarat area, a no-go zone. And there he accepts that the Indian trawlers never call for assistance, although they have VHF and other links, they don't call for assistance. Then always these alleged incidents are taking place in Sri Lankan waters and they accept over-exploitation and they accept cross-border fishing by the Indian trawlers. Now this was few months ago. Last week, the Additional Solicitor General of Central Government of India again filed an affidavit in Tamil Nadu courts. There again, he categorically say the Sri Lankan naval vessels are not venturing into Indian waters because of the presence of Indian Coast Guard and Indian Navy. And there is marine wealth in the Indian side is overexploited. And also they say, they accept the fact that the fishermen from the north are going to see more. And on the counter argument, Tamil Nadu would say, they do not bind, the sovereignty of nations do not bind the poor and innocent fishermen just like fish, which has no transboundaries. Now here we see a great disparity between what the center is saying and what the Tamil Nadu government is saying. Now there is this over-exploitation problem. One case in point is in every year, after 15th of April, government of Tamil Nadu declare a fishing prohibited period for 45 days. Excuse me. Now by doing this, they actually accept that the fish is being over-exploited and they want the fish to grow, or especially the shrimp. And this also means that this is a scientific and a systematic way of taking the fish from Sri Lankan side. Now this is a huge conservation issue. Once the marine habitats are destroyed, it takes millions of years to regrow those habitats. And right now, this is being harassed, this is being exploited in big time. Now, in fairness to the relations between the two countries, there is a joint working group working on it. However, they have not really come up with a concrete, a positive framework to address this issue. Only there is a salutary effect. The violence or the accusations of violence has been reduced. And Sri Lankans would always say, please respect the IMBL and please refrain from using destructive methods. And it has not really come to a memorandum of understanding yet. And another topic debated is the releasing of bona fide fishermen from both sides. Now the Jaffna fishermen, traditionally, they use very traditional and sustainable methods of fishing. But now they see, after the conflict, they are back to fishing, and they see their brothers using mechanized trawlers and mechanized bottom trolling, exploiting these sea areas. Now recently, the Ministry of Fisheries in Sri Lanka said 5 billion rupees is being lost daily because of the poaching. I mean, because somebody take our catch, we do lose the international market, we do lose processing fees, we do lose handling fees. So finally, it can mean the loss of livelihood. Now let me come to the second part of my presentation, the security concerns. Now, geographical proximity, the two countries are very close to each other, and we know the LTTE exploited the fishing trawlers in a big way. And unfortunately, although the LTTE is militarily comprehensively defeated, the dream of Elam is still alive. Some front organizations and some people or the refugees in Tamil Nadu can use this opportunity. And recently, the Indian government banned LTTE, saying that they are still a threat to the citizens of India. Now, this can directly affect our reconciliation process. And in fairness to the issue, I must say it is not only Indian trawlers which are poaching in our waters, but there are other trawlers poaching in our waters as well. So in conclusion, let me say that IUU fishing is a threat to national security. Incursions by fishing vessels into the EEZ or even at times to the territorial waters can affect its ability to manage its natural resources or pose a serious threat to her security, that is our security. And also, IUU fishing can also lead to breaking of law and order situation, challenging the jurisdiction of a country, and could be linked to some form of maritime crime such as narcotic, gun running and illegal migration. We have seen this in the past, and this can happen in the future as well. And one of the major worries that I have is depletion of the marine habitats by the IUU fishing can mean loss of livelihood for people, and hence they could resort to other illegal activities and can become a prey for subversive elements. So this is the danger that I see in continuing this IUU fishing. Now there are certain suggestions put forward by various parties. These are not my suggestions. I have done the literature review when I got these suggestions. Some people suggest that we must reduce the number of days for fishing. And some people suggest that we should have contact between fishing societies. Right now the contact is at sea. Quite often it's not a pleasant contact, but it's a violent contact. And some people argue the mechanized fishing should be stopped in the Pork Bay. And also there is this, especially the Indian side, proposed a Pork Bay authority and joint ventures for fishing. And some people argue the quantum of fish catch should be limited. And the Sri Lanka Navy is always proposing that there should be joint Indian Coast Guard and Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka Coast Guard petroleum must be there. And legal action being discussed, how best to deal with the bona fide fishermen. And also there is one suggestion to erect a physical barrier along the IMBL on the Poke Bay. How practical, how funding will be there, that's a big question. But these are some of the suggestions that are put forward in this arena. So I come to the conclusion of my time. And I was trying to tell you there is a big danger looming in the horizon by the IUU fishing, and that can really affect our reconciliation, and that can really affect our sustainable development. Thank you very much.